Grote turned in solid performances the next 2 years, but the Pirates failed to regain their magic of 1960, and Grote was traded by general manager Joe L. Brown to the St. Louis Cardinals. It was a move Brown later said was one of his biggest regrets, and it wasn't fondly received by Grote either.
I was heartbroken. I can remember how devastated I was that winter and how upset I was and hurt. And yet, looking back on my career, those were 3 of the happiest years I ever spent in the baseball uniform. And sometimes the grass can be greener on the other side of the street. One of the things that I'll always be grateful for is having played a season with Stan Musial. It was a great experience. In fact, I had the best year I've ever had, better than 60, hitting in front of him. And I've realized now, I had the best balls in the world to hit. Nobody's gonna walk me to get to Stan Musial. It was just that fact of life in those days. I had 200 hits that year.
Grote finished second in NL MVP voting in 1963 and proved to be a valuable ingredient to a powerful Cardinals club.
Dick knew how to play. He knew the hitters real well and played according to. He was up when we got him. He lost a little more range than what he had, but he could put together whatever he had left. He used it the right way. He was a good hitter. He could handle the bat. When you had him on your team, you know you had a chance to win.
In 1960, Dick Grote led the Pirates to their first World Series title in 33 years. And in 1964, Grote helped the Cardinals win their first championship in 20 seasons, once again topping the mighty New York Yankees.
You can imagine the personal satisfaction, getting a semi-pound of flesh from Joe Brown anyway, for having traded me. And I had heard that he had said I could never play on a pennant winner again. I'd gotten old, so it was certainly very personally gratifying to win again in '64.
Foot problems ended Grote's career 3 years later, but he retired as a 5-time All-Star, a 2-time World Series champ, and a National League MVP winner. And that might have ended his long and glorious association with sports, but the University of Pittsburgh asked Grote to become their basketball analyst in 1979.
It was like a gift from heaven. Basketball has always been my first love, and I always felt I was a much better basketball player than baseball player.
He was my boyhood hero. As a Pittsburgh Pirate, I always wanted to be a Major League Baseball player. And he was my Pirate. You know, played shortstop, got clutch hits all the time, and was a great leader. And then to wind up as my partner and my best friend, you know, life is funny that way. You can't predict a lot of things.
Grote's insight and love of the game introduced him to a new generation of Pittsburgh fans, but events would soon reintroduce him to the entire country as one of the most accomplished athletes in U.S. history.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at the most fortunate, luckiest person in this entire world.
When IPB, Dick Grote, Too Good to Be True, continues.
Domino's has contactless delivery, so you can safely get pizza even while you stay indoors.
Just take those old records on the shelf. I sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same soul.
Next time you get 2 or more medium 2-topping pizzas for $5.99 each, choose contactless delivery from Domino's.
All right, Monroe, you ready? Monroe.
We know that we're asking Americans to do a lot right now. So we're asking everyone to be selfless for others so that we can protect those who are most susceptible to this virus.
A question I often get asked is, why should young people care about the spread of coronavirus? Well, we know that people with underlying medical conditions over the age of 60 are at highest risk, but they've got to get it from somebody.
Social distancing is really physical separation of people
It's what we refer to when we ask people to stay at least 6 feet apart.
Not going to bars, not going to restaurants, not going to theaters where there are a lot of people. It all just means physical separation so that you have a space between you and others who might actually be infected or infect you.
We all have a role to play in preventing person-to-person spread of this disease, which can be deadly for vulnerable groups. For more information on how you can social distance, please go to CORONAVIRUS.GOV.
I think you'd have a hard time finding anybody in our history that was as good in 2 sports as Dick Groat was.
To me, Groat was a ball player because he really studied the game, cared about it, wanted to be a winner, and that type of thing.
He could cover shortstop, and he was the best in and out hitter I ever seen. You think you're throwing him inside, he shoots you to right field every trip. Groat was with the best of them. Pretty good basketball player, too.
Dick Groat was known to a generation of Pittsburghers as a terrific shortstop for the Pirates, and then was known to the next generation as the color commentator for Pitt basketball. But in the first decade of a new century, Groat seemed to be rediscovered as a basketball player. He was praised by national analysts, introducing him to a whole new audience of younger viewers, and he was inducted into the new National Collegiate Basketball Hall of Fame in 2007.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the greatest legend in the history of Duke basketball, my friend Richard Morrow Groat.
Wow, that was like a dream come true, and it was a second class. I went in with Jabbar, would you believe? And what a nice person he was. He couldn't have been nicer. It was like a dream come true for me, I'll tell you.
For many years, Groat seemed to be the most forgotten great athlete in U.S. history. Now he's celebrated as one of America's most accomplished 2-sport athletes.
I don't think the nation knows, or going back to Mazeroski's home run back when at Forbes Field, that Dick Groat was a star basketball player back then in the Southern Conference. It wasn't the ACC. So when you look at the real history of the game, and as good as he was as a baseball player, people don't realize how great he was a basketball player at Duke, as well as one of the great players in the country.
When you think about all he's accomplished on the field and on the court, he's a remarkable athlete and an even more remarkable person. That's what really sets him apart. And to think about a guy who led the nation in scoring and assists, and at night would sneak into the gym and played in the NBA for the Fort Wayne Pistons, and then turns around and has that kind of success in baseball, which I think if you asked him, I mean, I can't vouch for this for sure, but I think if you asked him, he'd say, you know, he loved baseball, but he really loved basketball. I mean, you can't say enough about him. He's just a guy whose heart is bigger than the state of Pennsylvania.
And he's one of the great athletes in, I think, our sports history in America. For a guy to be, well, you think about it, he was a first-team All-American in basketball. So that's 5 guys out of all the guys that played the game that year. He's one of those 5. And then in baseball, you look at the World Championship teams he played on, the fact that in one of those years he was the MVP in the National League. There are not many people that have been able to do in 2 sports what Dick Groat did.
Dick Groat worked tirelessly behind the scenes to help Bill Mazeroski get elected to the National Baseball Hall of Fame. He claims he wasn't that caliber player himself, but if not, he's about as close as you can get. And of course, he is a member of the College Basketball Hall of Fame, the College Baseball Hall of Fame, the Missouri State Hall of Fame, the WPIL Hall of Fame, just to name a few. A man whose many accomplishments are matched perhaps only by his modesty. And Dick Groat will always be remembered as one of the greatest Pirates of all time.
How does it feel to be playing against the team you grew up watching?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, you know, as a kid coming to these games and be able to come back here and play against them. It's going to be a special experience.
Luke centering pass. Second pass goes all the way back to center. It's Marino out of the box with a breakaway. Marino toward the goal. He scores! His first National Hockey League goal in his hometown. Can you script it any better? John Marino. Looks across. Zucker scores! Jason Zucker first as a Penguin. Pedersen accepts it. Back in front. Score! He's got another one. Welcome to the neighborhood, Jason Zucker.
Well, after 34 years of not winning anything, I think the Pittsburgh fans were hungry for a winner.
Nobody gave us a ghost of a chance. The odds were just out of sight.
In all reality, the Yankees had a better ball club, you know, and they should have won the series.
We didn't hit a lot of home runs, but we had people that could hit home runs, and during the course of that season, they hit them when it counted.
I've never been able to explain how you feel and how great it is, but it was pretty special.
Getting to the park, from where I had to park, I had to walk a block and a half, and during that block and a half, you know, it took you a half hour better to get to walk that block and a half, yeah, because people wanted to talk to you, they wanted autographs and so forth.
The crowd was just really wound up. I mean, having grown up in Pittsburgh, this is my home. I've always said this is a great baseball town. Sure, we had our trouble for 20 years, but you saw how great the fans react here in Pittsburgh.
Oh, it was just a buzzing, just a little buzz going on. And then when we got ahead and got a few runs, it got a little louder. But then it shut down for a little while too when they went ahead. And that day it was a special day.
Forbes Field in Pittsburgh, the 7th game of the 1960 World Series. The New York Yankees versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. Brought to you today by the Razor Company and by General Motors. Yankees. Bobby Richardson leading off. Second base, Tony Kubek. Shortstop, Roger Maris. Right field, Mickey Mantle. Center field, Yogi Berra. Left field, Bill Skowron. First base, John Blanchard doing the catching. And by the way, as you probably have learned by now, and as we learned after the game, Elston Howard, who was hit by a pitched ball, suffered a fracture of the little finger on the throwing hand and, of course, the sideline for today. Clete Boyer is hitting 8th, third base, and Bob Turley pitching. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, Bill Burden leading off, center field. Dick Groth, shortstop. Bob Skinner, who was injured early in the series, is back in action in left field. And Rocky Nelson will start at first base. Roberto Clemente hitting 5th, right field. Smokey Burgess in the 6th spot in the batting order, catching. Don Hope batting 7th, third base. Bill Mazeroski hitting 8th, catching, and Vernon Law doing the pitching.
The Pirates to the field. And if Casey wins this one today, it will be his 8th World Series victory, which will be an all-time series record. He's tied currently at 7 each with Joe McCarthy. So the Bucks are in the field, and we'll set them up defensively for you in a moment. At first base, Rocky Nelson. At second base, Bill Mazeroski. Shortstop, Captain Dick Groth. The third baseman, Don Hook. In left field, back in action after missing all of the series practically, Bob Skinner. The center fielder, Bill Burden. And the right fielder, Roberto Clemente. Behind the plate, Forrest, Smokey Burgess. And on the mound, the Deacon, Vernon Law, who goes after game number 3 and the one that'll do it for the Pirates. Coaching at first base for the Yankees is Ralph Houk. And at third base in his 19th World Series as player and coach, the Crow, Frankie Cossetti. Don Hoke has had his final word with Vern Law, who pitches on a bad ankle. Law having won Game 1 and Game 4 by scores of 6-4, 3-2, and both times relieved by Elroy Face to save it for him. And goes to the darling of the crowd, Bobby Richardson, the second baseman. And it's a ball. We're underway in the payoff ball game of the 1960 World Series. Richardson, 9 for 25 with a .360 average, 1 homer, 12 RBIs. Into shortstop. Dick Groat, 1 out. A hot liner down to shortstop Dick Groat, and there's 1 down on the Yankee first. Shortstop Tony Kubek, hitting .370 in the series, 10 homers, or 10 hits in 27 trips, no homers and 3 RBIs. He, along with Skowron, have the most hits in the series. Ball 1, curveball low. Warming up on the staff is Stafford and Chance. Slicing foul off the bat handle to the left. 1 ball, 1 strike. This alerts you to the possibility of a lot of thinking on the part of Mr. Stengel. They go for broke today. Stafford had been mentioned, along with Bobby Chance, as a possible starter. Turley will start, but Chance and Stafford will be ready. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fly ball into shallow right. Dropping back Mazeroski. 2 away. Right fielder Roger Maris stands in. He has 8 hits in 20 trips for a .320 average. 2 home runs, 2 RBIs. Homered on the first day in the first inning with nobody on off Law. Law going on to win that game 6-4. Jamming, ball 1. Sweeping breaking ball inside from Meridian, Idaho's pride and joy, Vern Law. 20-9 for the season. Down low, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Mickey Mantle on deck for the Yankees. 7th game of the World Series. Fastball in there. 2 balls, 1 strike. Good view there of Vern Law, one of the greatest men in baseball. 2-1. Ball 3 inside. 3 balls, 1 strike. Two down on the Yankee first. Roger Maris the batter. 3 balls and a strike. Checked foul. 3-2. On deck, broad-shouldered Mickey Mantle. Pops him foul, and it's Don Hoke and Burgess looking. It'll be Don Hoke, the third baseman, coming on the line for the out. The inning showed no runs, no errors, and nobody left. And so at the end of the first half inning, the score, New York nothing, Pittsburgh nothing.
Well, I tell you, I didn't sleep much the night before. I really didn't, because every time I'd turn over, I'd wake up and go over in my mind the hitters and how I was going to pitch to them. You know, I mean, it was constantly on my mind. And so I was, when I probably about 6 in the morning when I woke up for good, and I said, you know, I wanted to get to the ballpark and get things going, you know.
They step up. Our service members volunteer to protect us in the most dangerous places around the world. And when they are severely ill or injured, returning to their families is only the beginning of their long road home. Beyond all the hospitals and doctors and surgeries they need just to survive, they also deserve whatever they need to truly live. All the in-home care and day-to-day help they need to live independently, on their own terms. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs were established to provide these brave men and women whatever they need to continue their fight for independence at no cost, for life. So many of them need us, and it's time for a grateful nation to step up. Find out how you can do your part at findwwp.org.
Casey Stengel, well, I don't know. He was well regarded and talked funny to sports writers and all that kind of stuff, double talk.
Casey was just Casey. Everybody loved him. You couldn't help but like him. He seemed to make an awful lot of moves during that game.
You know, he started Dittmer. Dittmer actually had won more games than Ford that year. And so he went with Dittmer to start the series off. Now, everybody knows Whitey Ford is the money pitcher, you know, and in a tough situation, you got to have those kind of guys out on the mound.
Well, nobody knows why a manager does things. We're glad he did, because he didn't pitch against us 3 times, because he was outstanding.
A 1-0 record in the series. Nailed down his victory 16-3 in Game 2. Did not finish that ball game. Went 8 1/3 for 3 runs on 13 hits. Walked 3. Did not strike out anybody. Verdon 5 for 25 in the series. Will lead off against him. And we've alerted you to the fact that a lefty and a righty are warming up in the Yankee bullpen. 1 ball. Berra in left field for the Yankees. Mickey Mantle in center. Roger Maris in right field. Fly ball into left center field. Yogi Berra has a chance out there. Deep out in left center. 1 down. Shortstop Dick Grote, 5 for 24 in the series. Ball 1. He's high with a fastball. That's Mickey Vernon coaching at first, and Frank Osiak at third. Pops him up along shortstop Kubek's territory. Kubek for the second out. 2 down in the Pirate first, and the batter is left fielder Bob Skinner. His thumb in Game 1. He had 1 hit in 3 trips. Back in action in Game 7. And will be playing with some duress. The left thumb badly swollen. When he was caught in the rundown, F.P. Richardson tagged him as he slid back into third base in the first game. Outfield has swung to the right on Bob Skinner. Strike on the slow curveball. Turley in the regular season had 87 strikeouts and 88 walks. Law, by the way, had 120 strikeouts and only 40 walks. And Law pitched considerably more innings. Just outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. The Deacon went for 272 innings. That's Nelson on deck, as Turley's 173 for a regular season. 1 ball, 1 strike to Bob Skinner. Foul back, 1-2. In contrast to the Yankee bullpen, which is active with Shantz and Stafford, there is no action in the Pirate bullpen. Turley, of course, is quite aware of the activity down his left line. One ball, 2 strikes. Ball inside, 2-2. No score in the first inning. 2 down in the Pirates first. 2 balls, 2 strike enter. Ball 3, 3-2. That's young John Blanchard doing the catching. Elston hired out, as Mel told you, and Yogi Berra's in left field. Yankees have another catcher available to them if they'd like to use him, Dale Long. I don't know if he has his left-hand catcher's mitt with him, though. He walks him. Rocky Nelson, 2 for 6 in the series, batting in the number 4 spot, is on. So the Pirates have a base runner on a walk to Bob Skinner. And this odd batting stance that you will witness on the part of Rocky was developed in order to learn to pull the ball. He used to be more of a left field hitter, and he opened way up in this fashion. But you'll note also that on the swing that he's forward and ready to go. Just a little high on the curve. 1 ball, no strikes. The runner at first, Bob Skinner, held by Moose Skowron. Not to overwork the phrase, but for both of these ball clubs, there's a long winter and there is no tomorrow. Down low, ball 2. 2 balls, no strike. This has been, as Mel was saying earlier, one of the zaniest World Series that you could ever witness. About everything in it except a forfeited ball game. 2 balls and no strikes. Turley very carefully eyeing Bob Skinner. Strike as he gets that slow curveball in there. 2 balls and a strike. Rocky registers a mild beef with National League umpire Bill Jakowski from North Walpole, New Hampshire, but only a mild one. Roberto Clemente in the on-deck circle there to the lower right of your screen. There's a drive, deep right field. Way back she goes, and you can kiss that one goodbye. Nelson slugs one over the right field screen, a drive of about 380 feet, and that brought Casey Stengel to the edge of the dugout steps. Right there, the wily veteran of the Yankees, as the Pirates take a 2-0 lead on a home run by Nelson, the second home run in this series by a Pirate. Clemente up. Strike. The only other home run was in Game 1. Again, you see the conversation there. Stengel doing a lot of thinking. The other home run was by Bill Mazeroski, and it won the first game. High fly out to right field, slicing foul. Coming over fast, Roger Maris may have a play by the bullpen, will not, as it bounces up on top of the protective covering over the Pirate bullpen. Smokey Burgess on deck. Rocky Nelson in regular season play had 7 home runs. One ball, 2 strikes. So the Pirates sting Turley early with a walk and a long blast to right. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Clemente. Pops him up. Second baseman Bobby Richardson dropping back for it. And that's the out that retires the side. The inning, 2 runs on 1 hit, no errors and none left. And so at the end of the first inning, the score is Pittsburgh 2, the Yankees nothing.
Oh, when Rocky hit that home run, gee, many Christmas, you know, in the first inning. Here we are, 2 up. That's 2 they got to get. They don't have yet. And eventually they finally got them, but it's always nice to get a lead.
I think anytime you got a situation where this is a final game and the winner takes all, why, yes, we thought that was a big, big thing for us in that first 7th game.
When we face adversity, we find a way through it. It's about taking care of each other. It's the small parts that make a big difference. At Chevy, we promise to do ours. We're offering Chevy owners complimentary OnStar Crisis Assist services and Wi-Fi data. If you need a new Chevy, interest-free financing for 84 months with deferred payments for 120 days on many of our most popular models. You may even shop online and take delivery at home. It's just our way of doing our part.
Mickey Mantle, geez, he hit 2 home runs in a series that went a long, long way. And I was, growing up, I was a Cleveland Indian fan. And Mickey Mantle, they had him up there, and I says, geez, and they sent him out to Oklahoma somewhere. I said, why don't they Cleveland get him? You know, I wanted Cleveland to get him because I thought he was great then.
Mickey Mantle, you know, here's a guy that I really think could have had even a greater career than he had if he had taken care of himself better. But he could do it all. I mean, he could run, he could throw, and everybody knows he could hit. You know, either right side or left side, it didn't make any difference. You know, he was a great hitter and certainly a Hall of Fame kind of a player in every regard.
Mantle has 7 hits in 20 trips, 14 World Series home runs, one behind the immortal Babe Ruth all-time World Series record. Mantle hitting .350 in the series has racked that average up mostly as a right-handed batter. Ball 1 inside. Mickey has 3 homers for this series. One of them that left the ballpark in a very strange sector. There's a foul, 1-1. Went out over the 4.36 mark and made it so phenomenal in right center field because he batted it out of there right-handed. The only batter in the history of baseball to do it in this ballpark. And this is the 2nd oldest park in the National League. 1 ball, 1 strike to Mantle. We'll await the decision. He tried to drag it. Apparently was taken for a ball. 2 balls, 1 strike. Some of the fans think that his action of looking like he was trying to bunt was enough for a strike. He did not move his bat. Into right center field and going back past Billy Burden, and there for the out. 1 down. This, of course, will be a highly partisan Pittsburgh crowd, and any action on the part of the Yankees offensively will be met with stony silence. Quite a contrast to that of Yankee Stadium. Here is Yogi Berra. He's pounded out 67 World Series hits. He's in his 68th World Series game. They're both records, and he has many others. Yogi, playing left field, has 6 hits in 18 trips. Strike. Bouncing foul past Ralph Houck at first base. That's Nestor Shalak of the American League umpiring at first. The umpires have turned in a tremendous job in a hotly contested 7-game World Series. No balls, 2 strikes to Berra. Outside, 1-2. Law carefully wasting the fastball. Low and away to Yogi. Down for the hole, and over goes Hook, knocks it down, comes up and throws and got him. A brilliant fielding play by the Tiger. Far to the left as Yogi tried a base hit to the opposite field and was thwarted by fine fielding. Here's the Moose, Bill Skowron, hitting .370 in the series. 10 homers, 27 RBIs. Tremendous power to all fields. Strike one. He has 1 homer and 5 RBIs. They play him straight away and deep. Pirates 2, the Yankees nothing in the second inning. Ball 1, 1 ball, 1 strike. Jammed him, ball 2, 2 balls and a strike. You'll observe Law will move this ball around. He's one of the better control pitchers in all of baseball. Ball 3, just inside, 3-1. Tremendously powerful Moose Skowron. Pops a foul out of play to the right. And it's 3-2. There you see a view of the newsreel men up on top of the right field pavilion. End of the line, 3-2 to Skowron. Slow bouncer toward short, big hop up for Grote. And a Nelson for the out. For the Yankees in the second, 3 up and 3 down. And so at the end of an inning and a half, it's Pittsburgh 2, the New York Yankees nothing.
By this time, we realized that we could play with this team. Game hasn't changed 50 years ago or today. You get the good pitching and you win.
Oh, no, we know we could have beat anybody at any time. And when we won the first game, I think it put a lot of confidence in us that, hey, we can beat these guys. They're nobody. They're just another team that have won a lot of World Series championships. That's all. So I don't think we were in awe of them or anything. We just played like we played all year, and if we did that, we're going to beat somebody.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be just like Cal Ripken. It's definitely humbling to know that now people are calling me a hero. We were doing a push into Taliban territory. Instead of finding the IED with my metal detector, the IED found me first, and that resulted in double above-knee amputations. There are people now that are looking up to you for their inspiration and to be their role model.
Nice to meet you. Good. How are you doing?
Meeting Cal for the first time was surreal. I mean, it's hard to describe the feeling of meeting somebody that you've always wanted to be like. You're realizing that there are people now that are looking up to you for their inspiration and to be their role model. And so it certainly is sobering. It comes with a weight of responsibility. It's so important that we continue to help veterans into the foreseeable future.
For more information, visit saluteheroes.org.
Smokey Burgess, I don't know if he liked to catch or not, but he sure liked to hit and sure could hit. He wasn't a great catcher. He's a little squatty guy. We all, if you remember, he was a little round guy and had little old hands. And you wouldn't think he could hit a lick, but he was one of the better hitters we had on that team and drove in some big runs for us throughout the year.
Well, anytime you mention Smokey, you think about the phrase that everybody used describing him. You could wake him up on Christmas morning and send him out there with a bat and he'd get a base hit for you. Just a natural hitter and a very good natural hitter. Didn't have great speed, but boy, he could really swing the baseball bat.
Smokey Burgess to be followed by Don Hoke and Bill Mazeroski. Burgess hitting at .267 for the series. Known by his teammates as the Little Round Man. Slow curve, ball 1. Yankee bullpen again active. Hard hit inside first for a base hit, and that is Maris coming around to field it brilliantly and holds it to a single. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all great credit to Roger Maris. Normally, that's a double. And Casey Stengel is coming out of the dugout. There you see the wily veteran of the New York Yankees in his 10th World Series. There have been other managers that have managed in many series. As an example, John McGraw won 10 pennants, but they only played 9 World Series. In 1902 and not 4, there were no World Series. They're calling for young Bill Stafford. And as he's coming in, let's bring in the voice of the New York Yankees, Mel Allen, who knows more about this youngster than anyone. Mel?
Bill Stafford is just 22 years old. Was brought up from Richmond late in the season when the Yankee pitching staff was sorely pressed, and as Casey put it, he needed to be rested. Turley gets a hand as he leaves. Stafford appeared in 12 games. He was used both as a starter and a reliever. And he won 3 games and lost 1. And you will recall in the World Series, he relieved against the Pirates and turned in.
Thank you, Mel. And certainly this is the right time to bring a youngster in, as they did over there. He was going to start him in the game at the stadium and decided he'd stay with experience and broke Stafford in the right way. Here's Don Hoke up now. Don is 5 for 20 in the series. Runner at first is Smokey Burgess. Nobody out. Turley goes 1 inning and nobody out here in the second. Allows 2 runs, 2 hits, no strikeouts, issues a walk. 1 ball to Don Hoke. Burgess at first, held by Skowron. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Curveball up around the eyes. He wears his age right on his back, 22. He'll soon outgrow that number. Or out-age it. Ball outside, 3-0. You're just looking into our picture with 2 down. Bob Turley in the first inning walked Bob Skinner, and Rocky Nelson lofted one into the lower right field deck to give it a 2-0 lead. He walks Don Hoke. And that is the second walk in the ballgame. So Burgess goes into second, and Don Hoke down to first, and Bill Mazeroski is the batter. And the Yankee bullpen starts to stir again. Clete Boyer in to have a little conversation with Stafford, and now going out to join him is catcher John Blanchard as Bill Mazeroski stands by. Bill hit a home run in game 1. Casey Stengel right there on the dugout steps, which is located on the third base side, now has a righty and a lefty going in his bullpen. In this game, he'll use them all. Shantz on the left, Terry on the right. He'll use all that he has to use. Mazeroski bunts it down third. It's going to be allowed to roll and foul. Very smart execution by pitcher Stafford. Might have been called off the ball by Boyer. Neither could catch it, and they knew they had no play then but to allow it to roll, and it went out foul. You recall, with Mazeroski up there, Law is due up, and they're bunting with the pitcher up to stop the threat of the double play, in addition to which Law is an excellent hitter. And the Yankees will attest to that. They're charging for a bunt, and it's down third this time. and picked up by Stafford. Throw on, and they don't get it. The bases are loaded. And Casey's beside himself. Mazeroski, a bunt single as Stengel. When you see there, trying to figure out about this jam. And here he comes. Spry, 70-year-old, one of the great managers of all time, one of the real wits of baseball, and who never fails, wherever he is, to draw the members of the Fourth Estate and of radio and television to his side. And he can regale you with one story after another. And he is now telling young Stafford, not off, but what he wants him to do in this situation. Pittsburgh leading 2-0, has the bases loaded. As Vern Law, who drove in a run in the game at the stadium with a double down the left field line to help his own cause, stands up with the bases loaded. The Yankees are up at first and third. They're at double play depth at second and short. Ball one. Burgess at third. Polk at second. Mazeroski at first. And nobody out. One ball, one strike. A tight spot for anyone to be in, let alone a 22-year-old youngster by the name of Bill Stafford in the final game of the World Series. Check swing foul. Off to the right, 1-2. Bill Burden on deck. The Pirates in this series have had very little opportunity to KO the Yankees in one fell swoop. This represents about their first big opportunity, but Stafford right now stands in their way. Back to Stafford. He'll go to the plate for one. He'll go to first base for the other one. A double play on a 1-2-3 situation. And that's a mighty big double play for the Yankees. As Burgess is out at the plate, Law at first base. Hoke, of course, has moved to third, and Mazeroski to second. And Billy Burden is up. Pirates 2, the Yankees nothing. Burden flied to left field in the first inning. Has 3 runs batted in for the series. Foul ball out to right. Pulling the slow curveball deep into the upper deck in right field. Don Hoke at third. Bill Mazeroski at second. 2 away in the Pirates' second inning. Stafford didn't like that baseball. Receives a new one from the plate umpire, Bill Jakowski. To left field foul. 0-2. Burden tried to take the curveball and go down the left line with it. No balls, 2 strikes. There you see Shantz warming up along with Terry for a moment. Nothing in 2 to Burden. Almost hit him as he tried to put too much on a fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Come on, Billy.
right center field, slug deep, and in there for a base hit. It's going to score a pair of runs as Verdon will go to second on a bobble by Maris. Casey Stengel exhorting Stafford to hang in there. Those are the first runs the Pirates have scored off Stafford, and it's a 1-1 ruling, a hit and an error. Verdon going to second base on the error by Roger Maris. Verdon now has 5 RBIs. The Pirates lead 4-0. There's a fly foul by Grote out the right line. Grote popped to short in the first inning. That's Billy Verdon returning to second. A key hit for the Pirates. Coming with 2 down after Stafford had turned a demoralizing bases loaded, nobody out situation into a little better spot with a double play, only to see the single come up. Down toward third base, and it is Boyer up, and he throws on to Skowron for the out. The inning showed 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 error, and 1 left.
You know, we had guys that did that all throughout the year. We took turns of driving in the big runs and getting a 2-out hit with men on second and third and driving in those runs. We took turns doing that, and Bill got many of his turns in.
Domino's has contactless delivery, so you can safely get pizza even while you stay indoors. Just take those old records off the shelf. I sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same soul. Next time you get 2 or more medium 2-topping pizzas for $5.99 each, choose contactless delivery from Domino's.
Swinging a deep fly ball to right, and Josh Bell has hit another one out of here.
And welcome to PNC Park.
Kevin Newman, his 7th home run of the game, just won it. Raise the Jolly Roger.
I knew that every hitter was a challenge, you know, and of course we had a report on them, knowing how to pitch to each of the hitters, you know, what they tried to do, what their strong points were, and try to stay out of a zone that they really like to handle. The only one that did that he wasn't sure about was Yogi Berra, because he'd swing at one up here and one down there, and I didn't throw him many strikes, but he still swung, you know.
Pittsburgh 4 and the Yankees nothing. John Blanchard and Cleet Boyer. And the possibility existing of a hitter for Stafford here in the 3rd. Blanchard is 4 for 7 in the series and is a fine hitter. Fouled up off the left side and no play available. No balls, 1 strike to John. This series has been blessed with most ideal weather. Back to Law. And a brilliant backhand stop, as you saw it, and Nelson 1 out. Cleet Boyer playing at 3rd, 2 for 8 in the series, brother of Ken Boyer, the fine third baseman of the St. Louis Cardinals, who had a banner year. Cleet changing his bat. This World Series is being brought to you in color exclusively on NBC TV. Mel told you earlier there's a little bit of a murky haze present here. Bobby Shantz now warming up, and Clete Boyer could have been very easily just changing bats and fiddling around a little bit, give Bobby a little more chance to warm up. One strike. Good curveball by Vern Law. There's Bobby Shantz. Pops him up into shallow center, and Mazeroski says he wants it. Surrounds it for the second out. Hector Lopez is getting the call to come out now and bat for Bill Stafford. Lopez, as a pinch hitter in the stadium, banged a base hit into right field, and he likes to go that way. He has good power. He has 2 hits in 6 trips for a .333 average in the series. He bats for Stafford here in the Yankee third. Pittsburgh 4 and the Yankees nothing. Ball 1. Fly foul way out the right field line. Another foul ball, line to right. Somebody made a sensational one-hand stab of a red-hot liner. And the familiar cry, as you always hear in every baseball park, sign him up. To shortstop and on through for the base hit. Lopez gets his second pitch hit. And the first hit of the ball game off Law. And that will bring up Bobby Richardson, who lined to shortstop Dick Grote to lead off the Yankee first inning. A 2-out single to left by pinch hitter Hector Lopez. Now here's the series hero with RBIs, 12 of them, Bobby Richardson. Ball 1. That's an all-time World Series RBI record. And when you see this little dreadnought at 150 pounds or so, overshadowing such great names down through the years in World Series. There's a fly ball into left that Bob Skinner has measured, and it is all. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. And so at the end of 2.5 innings, the score, the Pittsburgh Pirates 4, the New York Yankees nothing.
If we had a 2-game losing streak, he want Vern Law in there. I want him to pitch because he can do it. He could do the job. He just put his mind and heart into it, and he'd get you out and win somehow. He was our stopper. He wouldn't let us have any losing streaks.
We always respected Vern. Always knew he was going to be in the game and would take us through a bigger part of the game, and we were proud to have him out there.
I need new struts for my 2010 Chevy. Let me see struts by AC Delco, KYB, and any under $50.
We might be able to get some struts from the warehouse.
Why watch the counterman tap on his computer and hope he chooses the right part? Go to rockauto.com. Auto and body parts from hundreds of manufacturers. Choose the brands, prices, and features you want. Auto parts at the lowest price. Conveniently delivered to your home or business.
All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
Bobby Shantz was an excellent pitcher. You know, he was one of those guys that could change speeds and also had good control. Especially, you know, you had to hit. Most of the time, you had to hit a good breaking ball off of him.
Bobby Shantz was just a great competitor. He had been around for quite a while. That was 1960, and he won the MVP in the American League in 1952. So he really knew how to pitch.
We're looking at the third Yankee pitcher, Bobby Shantz, and Mel Allen has the log on him.
Bobby was used as a relief pitcher by the Yankees, won 5 and lost 4, has made 1 appearance in this World Series in relief, and worked 1 1/3 innings effectively. Bobby was the most valuable player in the American League in 1952, then suffered a sore arm which reduced his effectiveness, but he has toiled in an efficient manner in relief since he became a Yankee. And this, of course, is the second World Series in which Bobby has participated.
He goes to Bob Skinner, who walked and scored. Ball 1. Skinner, as you saw, will bluff the bunt there, but most likely, when he gets down to the 2-strike situation, if he gets that far, will try to take Shantz into left field. Yogi, by the way, is giving Skinner a considerable amount of the left field line. Pulls it, though, down to first, and Skowron on a nice play. On to Bobby Shantz, and it's 1 away. Got an inside pitch and went with it. Here's Rocky Nelson, hero to the Pittsburgh fans, certainly not to the Yankee fans. His first World Series home run in his first at bat in Game 7, found Bob Skinner aboard, and it gave the Bucks a 2-0 lead. They added 2 more in the second. Shantz is one of those quick fielding pitchers that managers dream of and so seldom find. He goes with the Burkeens, the Burdettes, and the Haddockses. 1 ball. Along with the right foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. It will be interesting to note the duel between Shantz and Rocky Nelson, for Nelson has a greater lifetime average against left-hand pitching than he does against right-hand pitching. He says it's because he waits longer on the left-hander and can pull them a little better on occasion. Ball 1, strike 1 to Rocky. Ball 2, 2-1. That time, Shantz might have thought Rocky was looking for the curveball. Shantz with a good screwball, several off-speed curveballs, good fastball. Ball 3, curveball hung inside. Roberto Clemente is on deck. Roberto has more hits than anybody for Pittsburgh, 8 in the series. Nelson has walked. That is the 3rd walk. And significantly, in looking back over the ball games, the Pirates have not had the advantage of many bases on balls off Yankee pitching, but today have picked up 3, and Stengel is looking again with the eagle eye. Been a total of 12 Pirate walks in the series. Not too many considering all the games played. Clemente, a bunt foul. No balls, 1 strike. That pitch was so far outside he would almost have needed an oar to get to it. Rocky Nelson retreating to first. 1 out, 1 on in the Pirates' 3rd. They lead the Yankees 4-0 in the 7th game of the World Series. Ball low, curveball, 1-1. Clemente developed the habit of standing way away from the plate about mid-season in Chicago. But he hit way over 300. Slow bouncer towards second base. Richardson up, backhanding on to Quebec on the first, double play. A 4-6-3er. And so at the end of 3 innings, the score is Pittsburgh 4 and the New York Yankees 0.
Well, you feel pretty good. Not confident. I'm not confident with a 10-run game. Maybe 15. Maybe I get confident. But there's there's too many things that can happen in baseball that just, there's no time clock, and they can come back and start running. Once an inning gets started, it is hard to stop an inning.
You never take advantage of a situation like that and relax. Not with a team like the New York Yankees. They had already beaten our brains out in 2 or 3 other games, so you were aware all the time this team is explosive. And it didn't make any difference up and down the lineup. All those guys could hit the ball out of the ballpark. And I think during that game, Skowron hit one of the early home runs to get him back into the game. You never know who's going to hit a home run in that ball club.
At Point Park University in the heart of downtown Pittsburgh, our towers are made with steel, not ivory. They're powered by innovation, intelligence, and effort. We understand there's no substitute for real-world experience and career-building connections. Our curriculum engages students with distinctive experiential learning opportunities. Point Park's pioneering co-op program empowers qualified students to work in full-time paid positions with our corporate partners while earning college credits. Career ready, that's the point. Point Park University.
It was a real challenge to face those guys, and I had Ted Williams ask me in 1960, that's the year that he retired, and I happened to be at a banquet with him, and he says, "How did you pitch the man on Maris?" And I said, "Inside." He says, "What? You're crazy." And I said, well when I say inside, I mean that far inside, you know. And he says, "Oh, okay, all right," because they were so aggressive. You know, when they saw that pitch inside, they were going to swing. You know, that pitch right there they liked, and so, but that's one they couldn't. If they did hit it, it had to go foul, because if you're going to hit the ball, you're going to have to hit it way out here, which would pull it foul.
Pittsburgh 4, the Yankees nothing, and Tony Kubek, who popped to second. First time up, takes one in there. There have been 13 double plays in the series, 8 of them executed by the Yankees. And that double play has been a valuable weapon in the games that needed close decision. Foul on the change. Big motion by the Deacon that time. No balls, 2 strikes. Vern Law is the perfect example of what mothers and fathers thrill over if their sons idolize a baseball player. Ball inside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pops him up, and it's Dick Grote at short who wants it. 1 away. Baseball throughout the years has provided the fans the nation over with some of the finest idols that any youngster could ever have. And that's why it is truly the greatest sport of them all. Roger Maris, who fouled out to third in the first inning. Fouled back. That's Mickey Mantle on deck. The outfield is set around to the right on Roger. The bunt is fouled down third, fielded by Frankie Cressetti, one of the greatest of them all. 19 World Series as player and coach for an all-time record, the Crow. This is Kubek. Nothing in 2 count. There you see Law wasting his fastball. Or rather, this is Maris, Kubek having popped to short. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Foul away. Tough. That one went over everything. Fans waiting expectantly for it to come down off the roof, maybe get a shot at it in the lower boxes. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Roger Maris. Long drive foul up over the roof. There have only been 7 hit over that right field stanchion. Babe Ruth was the first to do it. Mickey Mantle in an exhibition game, Ted Beard, Bob Skinner, Wally Moon twice. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now Vernon took a little too much time for Roger. They say this fellow has the most perfect picture swing you'd ever wish to witness. He's jammed 2-2. The home run he hit at the stadium off Haddix on a 3-1 pitch was planted about as deep in that upper deck at Yankee Stadium as you'd ever see one planted. There's a wrap for right that Clemente comes on. The ball hangs up for him. Ball started to sink and then held on for Roberto Clemente, and it's 2 down, and Mickey Mantle, who flied into right center field back in the 2nd inning, will come on. 2 down in the Yankee 4th. The Pirates in front, 4-0. There's a drive into right field, and Clemente comes on to grab it. That's the 2nd hit off Law, the 1st hit by Mantle, and the batter will be Yogi Berra, who was robbed of a base hit back in the 2nd on a brilliant fielding play by Don Hope. Foul back. That's Mickey Mantle at first base. Ball 1. There's a fly ball out to right field. Clemente hustling and hauls it in. A long run for the out. And it is no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. And so at the end of 3.5 innings, the score: Pittsburgh 4, New York Yankees 0.
Roberto Clemente was an all-star all the way around. He could do it all. He could hit, he could play defense, and he did everything well. There's nothing that he couldn't do, and it speaks for itself.
You know, he chased down a lot of mistakes. He really had, you know, during during that series as well as during the season.
There wasn't anything in the game of baseball Bobby couldn't do, and do better than anybody else. He, in my opinion, was the greatest God-given talent I ever saw.
In a world ravaged by tiny, insignificant, minuscule fish sandwiches, there is only one incredible, enormous, like it's really big, fish sandwich. The whale of a cod. Eaton Park's whale of a cod fish sandwich. Yeah, it's big. Want to take it with you? Try Eaton Park's Fish Fry to Go. 2 whale of a cod sandwiches, chips, plus soup or coleslaw for only $19.99.
Swinging a deep fly ball to right, and Josh Bell has hit another one out of here.
And welcome to PNC Park.
Kevin Newman, his 2nd home run of the game, just won it. Raise the Jolly Roger.
It was a team that was extremely close, even to the point that 60 years later, we're still very close. What numbers are left of us?
Oh, I mean, after the games, geez, we'd stay in there, and I mean, you know, Elroy Face and Haddix and Hal Smith and Elroy Face started singing, and geez, we'd stay in there and just have a ball with each other after the game. We might have one beer, that's about it.
Ball's hit hard, but run down by Clemente. Burgess up, single to right first time. Chops this one down slowly towards second. Richardson up, and will now give it off to Skowron, although Chance was there to be prepared. One down, and here's Don Hook, who drew a walk in the second inning and came around to score. Outfield swings left to Don. Right fielder Maris stays deep, however, toward the line. Strike. Slow curveball. Hook has the ability to hit the long ball to right field for the home run. Down the alley, fastball, strike two. Bobby Chance quickly out in front of Don Hook. That's Bill Mazeroski on deck. Hook waving at a gnat or something. Ball outside, 1-2. Bobby Chance in relief of Stafford, who in turn relieved Bob Turley. The proof being that this game of baseball, there's room for all sizes and shapes. This fella's heart's every bit as big as his body. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Slowly hit towards second baseman Bobby Richardson. To Skowron, and there are 2 away in the 4th. Bill Mazeroski, who bunted for a base hit to load the bases in the second inning. And it looked like the Pirates were going to put on one of the New York Yankee route acts, but Stafford got a double play. And then Verdon pumped the 2-out single into right to drive in a couple of big runs, and the Pirates took a 4-0 lead. Ball 1. Mazeroski hit at .273 for the season, 11 homers and 64 RBIs. 58 had the great year. The off year was in 59, came back this year very strongly. Ball 2, 2 balls, no strikes. High pop, shallow left. Boyer, Kubek, and Berra. It is Kubek, the shortstop, that makes the catch that retires the side. 3 up and 3 down. And so at the end of the 4th inning, the score is Pittsburgh 4, the New York Yankees.
In all reality, the Yankees had a better ball club, you know, and they should have won the series with all the runs they scored and so forth. But under circumstances, when you get decent pitching, you know, and great defense, and score a few runs, you know, you've got a chance.
what people don't realize is when you lose the games we lost, we got our brains beat out, 16-3, 10-0, 12-0. There was no second guessing. Everybody was in the locker room talking about how far man will hit this ball and so forth. It was never any, if I'd have gotten the base hit, if I'd have made this play or that play. There was no second guessing in any one of the 3 games we lost.
Skowron rolled out to short back in the second inning. Vern Law pitching with a bad left ankle. After his 3rd victory in the series, comes right in there with a strike. The bunt is down first and foul. That's about as long a foul bunt as you'll see. 0-2. You will observe when Law pitches that he momentarily takes his eye off the plate. This was a style developed after a couple of years of pitching 2 true straight overhand. He then began to hide the ball behind his left thigh, and he takes his head off the plate for the moment and then picks it up quickly. And there's a drive to deep right. That ball has a chance to get out of here, and you can kiss that one goodbye. Home run for Skowron, his 2nd in the series, and both of them to the opposite field. And it's a 4-1 ball game as the Moose drills one deep into right. And that'll bring up Blanchard. So the Yankees edge partway back into the ball game as Blanchard, who went out pitcher to first, back into 3rd, is now in there. High foul, no play. Right side. Newsreel cameraman busily grinding away up on top there. That's the 3rd deck, so they're way up. Ball. That's the 6th World Series home run for Moose Skowron. And one of them was a grand slammer. 1 ball, 1 strike to Blanchard. Hard bullpen is up. There's a little fly ball out into shallow center, and Billy Burden coming on. And it's 1 away. The Yankee bullpen is also active as we're getting down to the lower part of the Yankee batting order. Cleet Boyer, who popped to 2nd, is coming on now. Roy Face is up for Pittsburgh. And somebody else we can't see. There's a try for the bunt. Fouled it off. That's Roy Face on the left. And that is Coates there. Strike, 0-2. Harvey Haddix was the left-hander, and Roy Face the right-hander for Pittsburgh. Coates is the right-hander for the Yankees. Skowron homered off Law in the 4th inning of the 4th game. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That is the 3rd homer hit off Law in the series, as Maris also has 1. Just outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pirates 4, the Yankees 1 in the top half of the 5th. 1 out and none on. Two balls, 2 strikes. And solidly hit right to Mazeroski at second base. When you're going right, those drives drop in. And when things aren't breaking right for you, they don't. Bobby Shantz will now hit. Casey wanted to be ready should had Boyer been on. Coates will now sit down. And Shantz standing in there. Curveball for a strike. Down the left field line, hooking foul. 0-2. As you observe there, the Yankee bullpen is full. Both bullpens are in that department. 0-2 to Shantz. Just outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Three hits off Law. Ball 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Pops him up. And Rocky Nelson comes up by the mound for the out. 1 run on 1 hit, a homer by Skowron. Nobody left. And so at the end of 4 1/2 innings, the score: Pittsburgh 4, the New York Yankees 1.
It was important to keep that the score close, or or keep our lead, and be able to continue to to eventually getting the next guys out as you went along. Because after if say after that home run, maybe I'd give up a walk and then a base hit, and then somebody hits one. That's how quick it can change. And so if you lose concentration out there, you're going to get in trouble.
Did you hear? You can sell your vehicle and get paid fast, all from the comfort of home. Introducing Sell.Barrel.com. Sell.Barrel.com is everything you need. It's fast. Tell us about your vehicle to get an instant offer. It's convenient. Drop your vehicle off or we'll pick it up for you. And it's simple. Get your offer, click for pickup, get paid fast. 3 simple steps without leaving home. So if you're looking for the best way to sell your vehicle, visit Sell.Barrel.com today.
There was no remarks made about any change at all at that point. If today's game, yes, you would have been gone. And your I guess your long reliever or whatever would be out there taking your place. But back then, when you went out, you were expected to go 9 innings, not 5 or 6 or 7. You're out there for the duration.
Carry you along in the rest of this ball game. It's both a pleasure and a privilege to have shared the microphones with him, Mel Allen of the Yankees.
Hello there, everybody. Thank you very much, Bob Prince. Vernon Law at bat. Strike 1. It's the last half of the 5th inning. Pittsburgh out in front by a score of 4-1 in the final game of the World Series. Bobby Shantz, the 3rd Yankee pitcher. Law takes a high curve. Ball 1, 1-1. Law bounced to the box into a double play in the 2nd inning with the bases loaded. But Bill Burton did not let relief pitcher Bill Stafford off the hook when he followed with a 2-run single. High for a ball, 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Little Bobby Shantz pitching to Deacon Vernon Law. There's a drive deep down the left field line. That ball is going foul. We had to wait for the foul line umpire to call it. Stan Landis. That ball was given a good ride by Vern Law. Vern Law in the 4th game of the series clouded a double when the Pirates scored their 3 runs in the 5th inning, enough to win that game 3-2. There's a shot one-handed by Boyer. And Law is retired. Vern Law getting a hand. He comes back to the dugout. And here's Bill Burton. Fly to left and single to right. Driven in 2 runs. High outside, ball 1. It was in game 4, after Law's 2-out double had driven in 1 run, that Burton came through the base hit to score the 2nd and 3rd runs, which were the clinchers. Inside for a ball, 2-0. And it may well turn out that the 2 runs that he drove in the 2nd inning with 2 out could be the clinchers in this one. Dick Grote on deck, 1 out, last of the 5th, 4-1 Pittsburgh. Curveball missed, strike 2, 2-2. Bobby Shantz from Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Check that, 2-1. Curveball is over. Strike 2, 2-2. The on-deck man, Dick Grote. Outfield playing Burton, just a little toward right. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Curve is lashed toward second. Richardson to his right. And there are 2 away. 2 up and 2 down the last of the 5th. The Pirates leading 4-1. And up comes the National League batting champion, Pirate captain, the aggressive Dick Grote. Popped to short and grounded to third. A native son. Two away in the 5th. 4-1 Pittsburgh. Curveball is over, strike 1. Rocky Nelson homered off start of Bob Turley with 2 out in the 1st inning after Turley had walked Skinner. And the Pirates added another pair in the 2nd. A line drive right back at Bobby. And the side is retired. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. And so at the end of the 5th inning, the score is Pittsburgh 4, New York 1.
All my life, always was a Pirate fan and loved going to the ballpark. And to be a Pirate was something very, very special to me. I was very proud to wear that Pirate uniform, and especially since Mr. Rickey gave me the chance. The minute I finished my college eligibility, he put me in a Pirate uniform, and I never played minor league baseball, which I'm very proud of.
You met on an app. Delete it.
Why?
He's the one.
Huh?
I see something else. A star with 3 points. You're in a Mercedes.
Yeah, we wish.
Wish granted. With 4 4MATIC models starting under $40,000, there could be a Mercedes-Benz in your very near future at the spring event. Lease the GLB 250 4MATIC SUV for just $419 a month with credit toward your first month's payment at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer.
Swinging a deep fly ball to right, and Josh Bell has hit another one out of here.
And welcome to PNC Park.
Kevin Newman, his 3rd home run of the game, just won it. Raise the Jolly Roger.
I still knew that I had to bear down and still keep on making good pitches, but when the Yankees exploded, as you saw later on, you know, they could score in a hurry, you know, and so I knew that I had to keep men off of base. If I give up a home run, it better be nobody on base, you know, and so you had to bear down on every pitch and every hitter, and I tried to do that, and so later on in that game, things started to change a little bit, as you well know.
With 2 out in the 1st, Skinner walked, Nelson homered off Turley, and in the 2nd inning, Burgess singled. Stafford came in, Hoke walked, Mazeroski beat out a bunt to load the bases. Law bounced into a double play. Stafford to Blanchard at first, and then up came Burton to single home 2 runs. Skowron homered in the 5th. Bobby Richardson at bat, attempting a bunt, strike one. First half to sixth inning. Bobby line to short and line to left. Tony Kubek on deck and Roger Maris to follow. Vern Law, a fast worker. Richardson stepped out. No balls, one strike. There's a liner in the center. Burden coming on fast and can't get it. It's in there for a base hit. Bobby Richardson singles to center. Coming up with his 10th World Series hit. Tying Kubek for a total of 10. Bill Skowron has had 11 to lead. Tony Kubek popped to second, popped to short. Inside, ball one. Pirate bullpen up. Roy Face and Harvey Haddix. Pirates leading 4-1 in the sixth inning. He held off. Ball two. Casey Stengel in front of that dugout watching the scene. Mantle number 7 walking around, and Don Hope moves over from third now to talk to Vernon Law, who has won his 2 previous starts, though he did not finish either one, working a total of 13 in the third innings and giving up just 4 runs. 2 balls, no strikes. Bobby Richardson on first. Pirates out front 4-1, sixth inning. Final game of the World Series. It's in there, strike one, 2-1. Richardson on first. Rocky Nelson step behind him. Tony Kubek the batter. 2 balls, 1 strike. It's inside for ball 3, 3-1. Vern Law pitching very carefully, trying to aim the ball. That's in there, strike 2, full count. A master at control. Only walked 40 men, 120 innings during the regular season. Full count. Richardson playing it safely. Ball 4. Kubek walks, Richardson moves to second, and Danny Murtaugh comes out of the Pirate dugout with Roger Maris due up for New York, and with Pace and Haddix in the Pirate bullpen. There is no tomorrow, and the managers will not hesitate to throw everybody that's available into this ball game. Danny, who is a master at handling men. Don Hope facing you.
Don, you know, tough as nails. You know, he's a fighter. He'd do anything to help you win a ball game. Do it in the right way, of course. But anyway, he said, Deacon, he says, now look, when you walk off of this mound here, you hold your head up. You've done a hell of a job for us. You know, that's in his words. And so anyway, that was more or less his comment. You know, and I appreciated that very much.
Now let's see what Danny, he's going to bring in Roy Face. Roy Face, who has saved 2 games in this series for Law and 1 for Harvey Haddix. Casey Stengel in his dugout. Face relieved Law in the 8th inning of the first game. A hand for Law as he leaves. And he's getting a standing ovation.
Well, I didn't want to come out of the game, but when Murtaugh makes up his mind, you're not going to change it, you know. And he didn't ask you, well, how you feeling, Vern? Or you think you can? No, he didn't do that. He says, I'm going to make a change, you know. And so that's when he brought in Elroy.
Roy Pace coming on. He has been, and I say this respectfully of Roy Pace, the Larry Sherry of the 1960 World Series. Pace relieved Law in the 7th inning at Yankee Stadium. Faced only 8 men, the final 8, and got them out. Roy Pace in 3 games has allowed just 3 hits in 7 1/3 innings of relief pitching. He gave up 2 runs in the opening game in the 9th inning with the Pirates leading 6-2. He gave up a home run to pinch hitter Elston Howard with 1 on and gave up 1 other hit. Roger Maris up 4-1 Pittsburgh, 6th inning. It's in there for a strike. Maris laid off it, but the ball was inside. Maris fouled out to third and lined to right. Bobby Richardson is on second. Tony Kubek on first. Nobody out. 6th inning. Pirates 4, Yankees 1. Outside. Ball 1. 1-1. That's Beck on first. Richardson's on second. One ball, 1 strike. 4-1 Pittsburgh. There's a foul ball hit solidly down the right field line in the upper deck. A 1-2 count. Ground ball foul down the first base line. In game 1, Pace came on the 8th inning with 2 on, nobody out, got the next 3, gave up 3 hits and 2 runs in the 9th. But the Yankees have done nothing with him since, and the 2 appearances since then. This is his 4th in the series. A 1-2 count. Roger Maris, the batter. 4-1 Pittsburgh. A high pop down the third baseline. Don Hoken, foul ground, makes the catch. Hugh Casey holds the record for most relief appearances in the series at 6. Mickey Mantle now coming out of the dugout. Mantle flying to right center and single to right. Yogi Berra on deck. Pirates out front 4-1 in the concluding game of the World Series. Richardson on second, Kubek on first. 1 away. There's a ground ball hit out to Grote and through, and here comes Richardson around third to score. Kubek on his way to third, and it is a 4-2 ball game as Mantle comes through with his 2nd hit. His 9th of the series, and his 10th run batted in the series. Yogi Berra comes up, grounded to third and flied to right. Pirates leading 4-2. It's the 6th inning. Dick Grote made a tremendous, desperate effort to grab that ball. He could not have succeeded in tossing out Mantle, but he could have prevented a run from scoring for that moment had he held on to it. 1 out as a bouncer hit foul down the first baseline, just barely foul. Man, that was close. Mantle retreating to first, Kubek to third. No balls, 1 strike. Kubek on third, Mantle on first. 1 out. There's a drive hit deep to right field, but it is going to go foul. And out of play, and it is all the way, excuse me, all the way for a home run. Clemente never moved over. And we thought the ball was curving foul. It is a home run for Yogi Berra. Scoring. Kubek and Mantle ahead of him. And the Yankees have forged in front 5-4. Brendan Haddock's in the bullpen. A towering drive down the line. And Roberto Clemente fooled us a moment when he just stood there, and we assumed that he thought the ball was going foul. And Jim Honeychick then signaled a home run. 5-4 New York, and the batter now is Bill Skowron. One away. Low outside, ball 1. Berra's first homer in this series. The Yankees' 10th. Foul back to the screen. Berra grounded to third. Skowron grounded to short and hit the home run in the 5th inning. Yogi Berra, one of the game's most dangerous batters, hits a 3-run homer to put the Yanks in front 5-4. Inside for a ball, 2-1. One away in the 6th inning. It's a high pop foul off third. Don Hoke moves over near the stands, under it, and makes the catch. Two away in the 6th inning. Now the batter is Johnny Blanchard, who hit to the box and flied to center. New York 5, Pittsburgh 4 in the 6th inning. Yankees coming from behind 4-0. Inside, ball 1. Low and inside, ball 2. Two balls, no strikes, 2 outs. A bouncer foul down the first baseline. Yogi Berra connecting for his 11th World Series homer. First half of the 6th inning. It's high, ball 3, 3-1. Four runs in for New York in the 6th inning. Yankees 5, Pirates 4. Ground ball hit foul down the first baseline. Roy Face in relief of Vern Law. Full count on John Blanchard. It's a high pop foul down the right field line and out of play. Vernon Law went 5 innings plus, didn't get anyone out in the 6th. Was charged with 3 of the runs. Ground ball hit to Rocky Nelson's up with it. And the side is retired. And so at the end of 5.5 innings, the score is New York 5, Pittsburgh 4.
Elroy come in and they get that 3-run home run off of Elroy. And I think at that point they had seen Elroy enough that they knew when that fork ball was coming, and that's what he hit. Because Roy, when he come up, he had pushed that ball back in between his fingers, and I think that they picked up on that. Now, if he would have done that every time, both on the fastball and breaking ball, then it wouldn't have made any difference. But he didn't do that at that point, and so I think they picked up on that, and that's what happened.
The day that JD was injured, I had woke up to an odd phone call. It was the military calling to tell me that he had stepped on an IED.
My role in the Army was I was an infantry scout. I was a squad leader for a recon element.
The Army doesn't really prepare you for injuries. They either prepare you for the soldier to come home or not to come home at all. They don't prepare you for the in-between. There's things that I do for him that is considered caregiving that to me is considered just loving him.
The day I got injured, she got wounded as well. And the veterans wouldn't be the men that we are and the women that we are today if it wasn't for our better half helping us every direction we go.
The Coalition to Salute America's Heroes helps severely wounded or disabled veterans just with basic needs such as emergency financial aid. For our family specifically, they tremendously helped us out with employment through their Heroes Thinking Heroes program.
Visit SaluteHeroes.org to learn more.
I can't remember getting worried, or I remember being a little bit upset that, hey, we got to score some runs now, and we have to score now, or we're done. But we've done it all year. We come back, I think, probably 40 some times. We come back from the 7th inning on, being down even 3 or 4 runs. We come back and score that many, and I just figured we got to do it again if we're going to win this thing.
As we play ball in the last half of the 6th inning, Bob Skinner batting 3rd in the order will lead off. Nelson on deck and Roberto Clemente to follow. Berra's 3-run homer took Vernon Law out of the picture, of course, as a possible 3-game winner in the series, and as of the moment, Roy Face is the pitcher of record. 3 runs being charged to Law and 2 to Face. 5-4, New York, last half of the 6th inning. Bobby Shantz pitching. There's a liner into right field. Maris makes the catch, and there's one away. The Yankee bullpen is alive with Jim Coates and Ralph Terry. Now coming up is Rocky Nelson, who hit a 2-run homer in the 1st inning off Bob Turley, drew a pass in the 3rd. Ralph Terry on your left, Jim Coates on your right. One away. Curveball is lashed down to first, Gowan up with it. Chance over to cover, and they're 2 away. 2 up, 2 down, and the batter is Roberto Clemente. Popped to second and grounded to second into a double play. Smokey Burgess on deck. New York 5, Pittsburgh 4. It's the last of the 6th. Curveball is over, strike 1, slow curve. Smokey Burgess on deck. No balls, 1 strike. Fastball is low and inside. Count evened up at 1-1. Bobby Shantz, the 3rd Yankee pitcher. Curve is missed. Strike 2. Beautiful slow curve. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Clemente reaches the outside pitch. Chance grabs it. Retired at first base. 3 up and 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. And so at the end of 6 innings, the score is New York 5, Pittsburgh 4.
That team never thought they were supposed to lose. So it was, in a game that close, we were never completely out of this game, like we were in the 16-3 game or 12-0, 10-0. We were still alive, and the Pirate team that year didn't think we were supposed to ever lose.
The fans, I don't know, they just, well, they went goofy. You know Pittsburgh. It was just, and after 30-some years and not winning anything, and then, you know, the Steelers didn't play well, and the hockey team didn't play well when it was there at times, and we finally got a winner, and it just, I think the fans fell in love with that 60 team.
And I'd have to give our fans a lot of credit for helping us win as well, because they were the 10th player out there for us.
7th inning, Clete Boyer takes a strike. New York 5, Pittsburgh 4. Boyer popped to second and lined to second. Strike 2. And Whitey Ford has gone down to the Yankee bullpen. There's a drive in left center. Skinner chasing it, and Burden makes the catch. 1 away in the 7th. And little Bobby Shands coming up. The crowd responds with some applause. There's Whitey Ford. Seventh inning, 1 away. Low outside, ball 1. New York 5, Pittsburgh 4. It's the first of the 7th. Bobby Richardson on deck. It's a high foul to the left of the plate, out of play. Pirates got 2 runs in the first, 2 in the second. The Yankees 1 in the 5th and 4 in the 6th. With homers by Skowron and Berra accounting for 4 of the runs driven in. Mantle single drove in the other. High, ball 2, 2-1. Roy Face in relief of Vernon Law. 5-4 New York in the 7th inning. There's a bouncer over Hope's head down the left field line for a base hit. Bobby turns first and will hold up as Skinner whips a good throw back into Mazeroski. Bobby Shantz bounces a single over the drawn-in Don Hope. And now coming to bat is Bobby Richardson. Line to short, line to left, and single to center. One away, 1 on, holding him on. It's low for a ball. Pirate bullpen busy. One of them is Bob Friend. 1 away. It's right over for a strike, 1-1. Yankees 5, Pirates 4 in the 7th inning. Final game of the 1960 World Series. Harvey Haddix is warming up along with Friend. A line drive, and it is foul down the right field line. Into the Pirate bullpen. And you see Bob Friend, the right-hander, warming up. Chance walks slowly back to first base. Whitey Ford, who was warming up, sits down. A 1-2 count on Bobby in a tense ball game. The winner to be the world champion. 5-4 New York. 1 ball, 2 strikes. A high foul out of play off to the left of the plate. Smokey Burgess had a quick word with Roy Face. One out, a 1-2 count on the batter. Chance on first. Richardson bounces it to Hope. And 1 out, that's all. Force out at second on Bobby Chance. Hope to Mazeroski. I don't know whether Maz would have had a chance for a double play or not. It appeared as if he skidded moving into the bag to take the throw. 2 away in the 7th, and here's Tony Kubek, who popped to second, popped to short, and drew the walk that forced the replacement of Law by Face. Yankees 5, Pirates 4, 7th inning. 2 down. Inside, ball 1. Pirate bullpen busy. Face is the scheduled 4th batter in the last of the 7th. Holding Richardson close. Bobby bluffed to break towards second and had to hurry back. 2 down. There's a line drive in the right field. Clemente there, and Grant. Side is retired. Runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on, and so at the end of 6.5 innings, the score is New York 5, Pittsburgh 4.
I always compared Roberto Clemente to Willie Mays. Willie Mays played center field great, and Bill Burton played it great, and I think Clemente played right field as well as they played center field.
Each day, 43 children are diagnosed with cancer.
The doctor sat down with me in a room, and that's when I first heard neuroblastoma.
Today's treatments are harsh, and many haven't improved in decades.
They kind of tell you when you go in that we're going to bring your child to the brink of death and then bring them back.
My hope for the near future is to be able to take these immune therapies and to make it a first-line approach. Because as more and more of these children survive into adulthood, we're seeing more complications.
It can affect their heart, it can affect kidneys and liver, it can affect their hormones and stunt growth.
It's almost like premature aging because of all the exposure to these drugs in the past.
Together, we can find safer treatments for kids fighting cancer.
The science says we have more hope than ever before, but we can only promise one thing, and that is we keep trying and that we'll learn from it. And the Children's Cancer Research Fund allows us to do just that.
We were a team of destiny in 1960. There was just so many times we had come from behind. I don't know what the numbers were, but it was a phenomenal number from the 7th inning on.
Last half of the 7th inning, New York 5, Pittsburgh 4. Burgess singled in the 2nd inning and grounded out to second in the 4th. Curveball is over, strike 1. Terry on your left, Coates on your right in the Yankee bullpen. Friend on your left and Haddix on your right in the Pirate bullpen. No balls, one strike. Smokey Burgess, the batter. Curveball is lashed into center for a base hit. Burgess opens the seventh with a single to center. And Joe Christopher will go in to run for Burgess. Joe Christopher from the Virgin Islands. He's a speed merchant. Don Hoke steps up, walked and grounded to second. Inside, ball one with a fastball. Yankees 5, Pirates 4, last of the seventh. Skowron holding against Christopher. That almost hit him inside. Ball 2, 2-0. Don Hoke, the batter, taking a look down at third base coach Frank Osiak. Coates and Terry heating up. Brendan Haddix for Pittsburgh. Seventh inning. 5-4 New York. Christopher running for Burgess on first. Nobody out. And it's inside for ball 3. 3-0. Three balls, no strikes. Strike one, 3-1. Joe Christopher running for Smokey Burgess. A 3-1 count on Don Hoke. Nobody out. Last of the seventh. 5-4 New York. Final game of the World Series. It's foul tip, strike 2. Full count now on Hoke. .6", Bobby Shantz. Pitching to Don Hoke. Full count, nobody out. Last of the seventh. New York 5, Pittsburgh 4. Christopher has a good lead off first. Bobby tossing easily over to the bag. Bill Mazeroski is on deck. Hoke asks for time. Granted by Bill Jakowski. Anything to rattle the pitcher. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out. Christopher on first. There he goes, and the ball is lying in the left. Berra moves over and grabs it, and Christopher has to turn and race back to first. Hoke lines out to Berra in left. And now coming up is Bill Mazeroski. Beat out a bunt in the second inning. Hopped to short in the fourth. Casey studying the situation as Mazeroski comes up. And now Casey's going out to the mound. Boyer and Blanchard talking to Bobby Shantz. Casey asking him how he's feeling, and now he's asking for Johnny Blanchard's thoughts.
Come on, man, it's over the clock.
Casey started away and goes back. Just stay with him. Five to 4 New York, last of the seventh. Joe Christopher on first base, 1 out. Bill Mazeroski, the batter. 5 to 4 New York. There's a bouncer hit toward Kubek, over to Richardson, back on to Skowron. It's a double play, and the side is retired. No runs, one hit, no errors, no one left on, and the score is New York 5 and Pittsburgh 4.
We had one of those years. Seemed like any time we needed a win, we got it, or any time we needed a run, we got it, and we just felt like we could win.
Toyota's family stretches to every corner of this country, so you can trust us to be here for you as we remain committed to supporting our community. Because the Toyota family is stronger together. This is our pledge. We are here for you now and in all the better days ahead. Toyota.
Swinging a deep fly ball to right, and Josh Bell has hit another one out of here.
And welcome to PNC Park.
Kevin Newman, his second home run of the game, just won it. Raise the Jolly Roger.
I tease Maz all the time. I says, you know, Maz, you might not be in the Hall of Fame. If Murtaugh would have left me in the game, you wouldn't have had to hit in the ninth inning. I'm not going to give up 6 runs in the last 2 or 3 innings, you know, and so.
Roy Face pitching for Pittsburgh. A little dribbler, and Face grabs it nicely. One away. Up comes Mickey Mantle, who flied to right center, single to right, and single to center. Drove in 1 run and scored 1. Joe DeMaestri goes down to the Yankee bullpen to loosen up, which might indicate his going in to play short, and Kubek moving to left. 5-4 New York. It's the first half of the 8th inning. Inside, ball 1.
Come on now, Roy.
A line drive to short. Joe grabs it, and they're 2 away. And here comes Yogi Berra, who grounded to third, flied to right, and then hit a towering drive down the right field line for a 3-run homer in the 6th inning. Stayed just inside the pole. 2 8th inning, 5-4 New York. High, ball 1. Tension riding on every pitch in this final game of the World Series. High and inside, 2-0. Yogi Berra, who has a lot of World Series records to his credit, and timely hits. Roy Face, in his 4th appearance in this World Series, has a count of 2-0 on Berra. A high pop foul to the right of the plate and out of play. A 2-1 count. Yankees 5, Pirates 4, 8th inning. Two away, nobody on. A 2-1 count on Berra. Foul ball down the first base line, carrying off the field boxes into right field. This World Series is being brought to you in color exclusively on NBC TV. Two balls, makes 2 outs. Foul back. Count remains 2-2. Yogi's 3-run homer tied him with Lou Gehrig for most runs batted in a World Series career, 35. Outside, ball 3. Full count, 3-2. Bill Skowron on deck. Two away, nobody on. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Ball 4, high and inside. Yogi Berra draws a walk. First given up by Face. And that brings to the plate Bill Skowron. Grounded to short. Led off with a home run in the 5th inning. Fouled out to 3rd in the 6th. Yankees have 7 hits. The Pirates 5. Homers by Rocky Nelson, Bill Skowron, Yogi Berra. 2 away. There's a high bouncer to Hoke. They plays over to second base, safe. Hoke's only play as he went back for that high bouncer, and it is scored as a base hit for Skowron. That is his 12th series hit, tying a World Series record for most hits in the series. Now coming up is John Blanchard. Blanchard hit to the box, flied to center, and grounded to first. Yankees 5, Pirates 4, 8th inning, 2 away. Berra moves off second, Skowron off first. Outside, ball 1. Yogi on second, Skowron on first. Eighth inning, 5-4 New York.
Come on, Elroy, let's get this third one.
2 men out. Roy Face pitching to Johnny Blanchard. It's a high foul out of play off first base, and the count is 1-1. Yogi eases back to second, Skowron on first. Moose tied the record for most hits in a World Series. Billy Martin had 12 in 1953 in 6 games. Edgar Rice had 12 with Washington in 1925, and John Martin in 1931 with the Cardinals in 7 games. Charlie Herzog and Joe Jackson did the same in 8 games. There's a line drive, and it's into right center field for a base hit. Berra turns third, comes in to score. Blanchard round second, heads for third as the ball was bobbled momentarily by Clemente. Johnny Blanchard singles to right center, putting the Yankees ahead 6-4. Scoring Berra, sending Skowron to third, and bringing up Clete Boyer, who popped to second, lined to second, and flied to left center. Bob Friend gets up to throw again for Pittsburgh.
Come on, Elroy, let's get out of there.
2 out in the 8th. There's a line drive down the left field line, and it is a fair ball. Skowron scores. Blanchard round second, heads for third. He holds up there as the relay comes on into the plate. Skinner to Hoke into Smith. It's a double for Clete Boyer to left field. Driving in, Bill Skowron with a second run in the inning, and it is 7-4 New York. And the batter now is Bobby Shantz, who popped out in the 5th inning to first and singled to left in the 7th. With 2 outs, the Yankees have rallied for 2 in the 8th inning and lead 7-4. Runners on second and third, 2 away. Outside, ball 1. Johnny Blanchard on third, Clete Boyer on second. 2 men out. It's in there for a strike, 1-1. Pace came in to relieve Law in the 6th inning. The high pop-up off to the right of the plate, foul, and it is out of play in behind the Pirate dugout. Johnny Blanchard returning to third, Clete Boyer to second. Six hits off base. The Yankees have had 10 altogether. One ball, one strike. Two down in the 8th inning. 2 runs in, 7-4 New York. Outside, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2 in, 2 on. Final game of the World Series at Forbes Field in Pittsburgh. Blanchard leads off third, Boyer off second, and Chance hits a bouncer, and it is a foul ball over the head of Don Hope. Bobby often chops the ball like that. It went foul. Would have sent 2 men home otherwise. Blanchard returning to third, Boyer to second. Frank Crosetti chirping down there at third base. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Blanchard leads off third, Boyer off second. Bobby Chance takes it low outside, ball 3, blocked by Hal Smith. Bobby Richardson on deck. Full count on Chance. Blanchard leads off third, Boyer off second. 2 away, and Bobby Chance hits a foul down the first baseline, which Ralph Houck knocks down. 2 runs in the 8th inning. New York 7, Pittsburgh 4. Blanchard moves off third, Boyer off second. 2 away. 3-2 count on Chance, and he hits a liner in the right center. Clemente goes over and grabs it. The side's retired. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors, 2 left on, and so at the end of 7.5 innings, the score is New York 7, Pittsburgh 4.
No, we're still in the game. That's the way the Pirates played all year. That was the trademark for the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1960. You could not count them out.
We came back so many times from the 7th inning on. It just, I don't know if 40 was enough or not, or if it was more. I don't know, but it was an awful lot of times, and that was our trademark, and we became to believe it. You know, you start believing in something that we can do it, and it would happen. So we just kept believing and believing, and it happened, and it just kept happening.
Join the team of professionals at Passivant Memorial Homes Family of Services who are dedicated to promoting choice and independence for individuals with intellectual disabilities, autism and behavioral health needs. Visit pmhfos.org to learn more.
The thing I liked about Triangle Tech was the class sizes were actually relatively small, so it was a lot of personal one-on-one with the instructors. Whenever I was graduating from Triangle Tech, I already had placement here at Siemens.
They are getting the skills that they need, the education they need to be successful working in a highly engineered environment. The majority of my department are Triangle Tech graduates.
Triangle Tech graduates are hired to do important jobs. No one trains you like Triangle Tech.
Join the team of professionals at Passivant Memorial Homes Family of Services who are dedicated to promoting choice and independence for individuals with intellectual disabilities, autism and behavioral health needs. Visit pmhfos.org to learn more.
The infield was the worst infield in the National League that I know of, because there was people that infielders would come and visit there. They wouldn't take ground balls because they didn't want to get in the bad habits of moving and doing this here, because they get a lot of bad hops on that field. It was not a good infield. It never was a good infield over there. It was always hard and soft mixed. It wasn't real hard all the time, and then you take a step in it. Like Verdon used to run out, start the game, and he'd run right across where these ground balls come to me, and he'd take these little divots out of there, and I'd holler at him and say, go to the outfield and run out there in the grass. And, you know, but he'd run over there and he'd say, hey, take that.
For you late viewers, the Pirates scored 2 runs in each of the first 2 innings. The Yankees picked up 1 in the 5th, 4 in the 6th, and 2 in the 8th. Yankees 7, Pirates 4, 8th inning. Terry and Coates in the Yankee bullpen. Bob Friend loosening up for Pittsburgh, along with Harvey Haddix. Gino Simoli's had 4 for 19 in the series. Batting for Roy Face. Strike 1, slow curve. Last of the 8th. High, ball 1, 1-1. One ball, 1 strike. Screwball over, strike 2, 1-2. Bobby Shantz came on in the 3rd inning and has pitched magnificently in relief, Turley and Stafford being the first 2 Yankee pitchers. Turley being charged with 3 runs and Stafford 1. 7-4 New York, last of the 8th in the final game of the World Series. Gino Simoli batting for Roy Face. A count of 1 ball, 2 strikes. Curve is fouled back out of play. Count remains 1-2. This is the 57th World Series and the 17th to be decided in 7 games. High fastball, a 2-2 count. The outfield shading Simoli a little toward right and center and right. Berra just a touch toward left center. Pirate fans start that rhythmic hand clapping. Curve is looped into right field and it drops for a base hit. And Simoli opens the 8th with a pinch hit, single to right. The second hit given up by Bobby Shantz. Here's Bill Verdon. Fly to left, single to right to drive in 2 runs and grounded to second. It's in there, strike 1. There's a ground ball hit to short, knocked, and it hits Kubek in the face, and all hands are safe. The ball took a hard hop. A double play ball bounced up and hit him in the face, all hands safe. And Bobby Richardson goes over quickly. Now Johnny Blanchard comes out, trainers Joe Soares and Gus Mauch. And now Casey Stengel runs out. Clete Boria moves on to the scene. Bobby Shantz got him to come up with what appeared to be the double play ball. It took the hop and hit Kubek in the face.
When I hit it, I said, oh no, because it would have been an automatic double play. I hit the ball well. Shantz hung me a curveball, and I hit it good, but I hit it where I shouldn't hit it, right at the shortstop.
Every time I've ever seen the World Series film, since then, it looked like it was worse than I've ever seen Forest Field. It was just so chewed up. It was unbelievable that day from the film, but I don't remember it being that bad during the game. I swear I don't.
The bad hop for Kubek was the play that might have won us the game, because we go on to score after that. That was a routine double play. I mean, as fast as Quayle was, Verdon was, he couldn't have beat that out. I don't think anybody could, because he hit the ball hard, and it was just about a two or three hopper, and it was hard, and it just happened to hit something and come up. And then, well, maybe one of those divots that one of the base runners run in and takes that little divot, and then it hit the zoom and comes up. It's they accused us of putting a brick out there.
Tony doesn't want to go out. He was trying to convince Casey that he's all right, and Casey said, look, if you're not, let's not be a hero in that sense. Casey says, I've got somebody to take over. And so Tony Kubek is leaving. Tony Kubek, who's had a great series. While he's not hit, he had 10 hits in the series. Bill Burton is credited with the single. And the bad hop now has given the Pirates a new lease on life with 2 on and nobody out, when it appeared for a moment as if there would be 2 out and nobody on. And Joe DeMaestri will go in to play short. Gino Cimoli is on second, Bill Burton on first, and the batter is Dick Grote. Bob Skinner on deck and Rocky Nelson to follow. New York 7, Pittsburgh 4 in the last of the 8th. Nobody out. Tying run at the plate. Grote popped to short, grounded to third, line to the box. Curveball over, strike 1. Blanchard goes out to say something to Bobby Shantz. Terry and Coates continue to warm up for New York. Cimoli leads off second, Burton off first. Inside, ball 1, 1-1. The last half of the 8th inning. Pirates get the first 2 men aboard. Yankees 7, Pittsburgh 4. There's a shot to left field for a base hit. Cimoli rounds third, comes in to score. The throw into third, and Burton stops at second, and it's 7-5. And Casey Stengel is out of the dugout as Dick Grote comes up with his 6th hit and his 2nd run batted in. It's 7-5, nobody out. Bobby Shantz victimized by the bad hop. Will now depart. And Jim Coates will be coming in. Burton on second. Grote on first. Skinner walked, grounded to first, line to right. Nelson on deck, Clemente to follow. The ball is bunted toward third. Boyer plays it to Skowron for the sacrifice, moving the tying runs in the scoring position. Burton to third and Grote to second. And the batter is Rocky Nelson, who belted a 2-run homer in the first inning, walked in the third and grounded to first in the 6th. It's the last of the 8th inning. The Pirates have the tying runs in scoring position. Final game of the World Series. Burden on third. Grote on second. One out. Jim Coates in relief of Bobby Shantz. Inside and low, almost a wild pitch. Ball one. Louis Arroyo gets up to throw along with Ralph Terry now for New York. Burden on third. Grote on second. Pirates lashing back here in the 8th inning. Runners lead away from second and third. Rocky Nelson swings and lifts a high fly ball into short right. Burden tags and holds up as the throw comes all the way in perfectly to Blanchard. Nelson flies to Maris with no advance. And now the batter is Roberto Clemente. Popped to second, grounded to second in a double play, and hit to the box. Hal Smith on deck. 2 away in the last of the 8th. New York 7, Pittsburgh 5. On third and Grote on second, and Clemente at bat, and Jim Coates in relief of Bobby Shantz. Coates, the 4th Yankee pitcher, following Turley and Stafford and Shantz. The boy from Village, Virginia, with runners on second and third. Clemente fouls it to the right of the plate, out of play. Strike one. Now Casey runs out of the dugout to talk to Coates. Two away now in the last of the 8th. 1 run in for Pittsburgh. Yankees leading 7-5. Burden on third, Grote on second. Roberto Clemente at bat. Outfield deep, straight away. No balls, 1 strike. Burden leads off third. Grote off second. 2 outs. Roberto Clemente lifts a foul out of play to the right of the plate, up onto the roof. Strike 2, 0-2. Burden returning to third, Grote to second. In this peak moment in World Series drama. There is no tomorrow. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Burden leads off third, Grote off second. New York 7, Pittsburgh 5. Bob Clemente hits a little dribbler foul and hit it off the handle and cracked his bat. The bat boy brought out a couple, but Clemente wants still another. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Burden on third, Grote on second. 7-5 New York. Clemente takes it low outside. Ball 1, 1-2. Hearts race and pulses pound here in this last half of the 8th inning, the final game of the World Series. Burden moves off third, Grote off second. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 7-5 New York. Runners widen their leads. And Clemente hits a soft dribbler towards Skowron, and nobody's going to get over. Bases loaded. Check that. 1 run came in on the play. Burden came on from third. Grote went to third. It is 7 now to 6. With runners on first and third as Clemente beat out a slow bouncer to Skowron. And here's Hal Smith coming up. Bill Burden scored. Grote went to third. Hal Smith steps in. He singled in the 7th. It's in there for a strike. Runs in for the Pirates in the 8th inning. Dick Grote on third. Clemente on first. High for a ball, 1-1. Clemente beating out the roller to Skowron. Scoring Burton. Grote moves to third. Strike as he took a good cut. Christopher went in to run for Burgess, who had singled in the 7th inning. Burgess started the game and had 2 for 3. Tying run on third. Clemente on first. 2 away. Hal Smith. He started a swing and held off. 2-2. Dick Grote on third base. Bob Clemente on first base. 2 runs in. 7-6 New York. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Hal Smith hits a drive to deep left field. That ball is way back out there going. And pandemonium breaks loose at Forbes Field. The fans go wild in Pittsburgh as Hal Smith slams a long drive, 425 feet over the left field wall, scoring Grote and Clemente ahead of him. 5 runs in, and it is 9-7 in favor of Pittsburgh. And Ralph Terry is coming in to replace Jim Coates. And so Jim Coates is the pitcher of record. One of the most dramatic base hits in the history of the World Series. In the inning, Somoli opened with a single. Burton's bouncer to short hit Kubek in the face, and Grote singled in a run. A sacrifice put runners on second and third. A fly ball kept the runners there. Clemente beat out an infield hit to get the second run home in the inning, and Hal Smith, who had taken over for Burgess after Christopher had run for Burgess in the 7th, belts one of the most dramatic home runs ever hit in a World Series. This one is for the money, and it's 9-7 in favor of Pittsburgh. Now here's Don Hope with Ralph Terry coming in to relieve Jim Coates. Outside, ball 1. That base hit will long be remembered. A curveball over for a strike. Hal Smith, born in West Frankfort, Illinois, lives in Livonia, Michigan, and at one time was Yankee property. Traded to Baltimore, to Kansas City, and then to Pittsburgh. There's another fly ball into left field. Berra moving under it. And the side is retired. And the Pirates come up with a big 5.
When Hal hit that, there was absolutely no doubt in anyone's mind. It cleared that 406 sign by a mile.
We knew that we were going to win this game, you know, one way or another. We were going to win it. And And you know, you could feel the excitement on the bench, and as the fans did in their seats. They felt confident as we did.
Oh, I thought we had the game won then. No, I was confident. When he hit that home run, we're up 2 runs. All we got to do is go out there and get 3 outs, and we're world champs. Geez, I was feeling pretty good.
As soon as he hit it, I was on third base, and I said, we've won the World Series. I was just that confident we'd get him out in the 9th, but it didn't work out that way.
Some things in your medicine cabinet are more dangerous than others. When it comes to prescription drugs, opioid pain medicines can be addictive and even deadly. Keeping unused opioid medicines in your home is risky. Half the people who misuse prescription pain medicines get them from a friend or family member. Over 100 Americans die every day from an opioid overdose, and millions are addicted to opioids. But you can be part of the solution to the opioid crisis. Go through your medicine cabinets, drawers, anywhere you keep unused opioid pills, patches, or syrups, and find out how to dispose of them safely. Visit fda.gov/drug disposal for details and remove the risk of opioids in your home.
We thought we were going to get them out 1, 2, 3, but as I mentioned to you earlier in the show, Yankees don't give up either. They were a very solid ball club, and Bobby Richardson was red hot that whole series. He won the MVP. It's the only time it's ever happened that a losing player would win the MVP in the World Series.
Bob Friend comes in. He made 2 starts. This is his first relief appearance, and the batter is Bobby Richardson, 1 for 4. Strike 1, and the crowd will roar now with every strike and with every putout. Pittsburgh fans have waited 33 years for this. There's a looper into left field, and it drops in there for a base hit. Bobby Richardson on with a single to left to open the 9th inning for New York. Bobby's 11th hit in the series. And Dale Long is coming out to hit in place of Joe DeMaestri, who had gone in to replace Kubek, who was hit in the face by the bouncer. Whitey Ford starts to loosen up in the Yankee bullpen. The Pirates opened up the bad bounce that got Kubek out of the game into 5 runs to take the lead. 9-7 here in the 9th inning. Dale Long batting for Joe DeMaestri. They foul off to the left of the plate. Strike 1. Long is nothing for 2 in the series. Pittsburgh 9, New York 7, 9th inning, final game. Richardson on first. High, ball 1, 1-1. Mizell warming up in the Pirate bullpen. There's a line drive to right field for a base hit. Bobby Richardson holds at second base as Clemente gets off a tremendous throw. And out of the dugout comes Danny Murtaugh. Dale Long pinch hits a single to right. And the Yankees are fighting back here in the first of the 9th, trailing 9-7 in the final game of the World Series. And with Roger Maris due up, Danny Murtaugh signals for a left-hander. He's had 2 men warming up, and I believe it'll be Harvey Haddix who had been warming up with Mizell. Low, ball one. Richardson on second, Long on first. Maris slips a pop-up. Foul. Hal Smith is under it. One away. Now coming up is Mickey Mantle, who flied to right center, single to right, single to center, and line to short. 2 for 4, 1 run batted in. Yogi Berra on deck. Pittsburgh leading 9-7 in the 9th inning of the final game. Harvey Haddix coming in to relieve Bob Friend. It's been Law and Face and Friend and Haddix. Richardson on second, Long on first, and 1 away. Ball one, low outside. Outfield deep, straight away. George Witt loosening up in the Pirate bullpen. Richardson on second, Long on first, 1 away. There's a line drive in the right center field for a base hit. Richardson will score. Long around second and goes on into third. And it's 9-8 as Mantle comes through with his third hit. And second run batted in the game. And it's 9-8 with Yogi Berra coming up. Eleven runs batted in this series by Mantle. And Yogi Berra coming up with Dale Long on third base, Mantle on first, 1 out in the 9th. Pirates 9, the Yankees 8. One out. Ball one outside. Harvey Haddix trying to keep that ball low on Yogi. And now Casey calls time and will send in a runner for Dale Long. It'll be Gil McDougall.
For New York, number 12, Gil McDougall, running for Dale Long. Gil McDougall.
Pittsburgh 9, New York 8. 9th inning, 1 out. McDougall on third, Mantle on first, Berra at bat. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 out. Final game of the World Series. Runners lead away from first and third. Outside, ball 2, 2-0. Harvey Haddix working carefully. McDougall on third, running for Long. Mantle on first. Pirates leading 9-8. 1 out in the 9th inning. And there's a shot grab by Nelson. Steps on first, and Mantle gets back to first. He's safe, and McDougall scores the tying run on an amazing turn of events. On a hard shot by Berra. Nelson grabbed the ball, stepped on first, and Mantle, with quick thinking, stopped in his tracks, slid underneath the tag, got back to first as McDougall scored the tying run. How about that? And so what appeared to be the game-ending double play results in the tying run, and 4 runs batted in the game for Berra. Mantle on first, 2 outs, and the batter is Bill Skowron. Yogi sets a new World Series record, 36 RBIs total series. Low, ball 1. And so the bad hop bouncer that hit Kubek and helped lead the way for 5 for Pittsburgh is countered by an oddity at first base. Two away. There's the bouncer hit to short, and the posts at second on Mantle. For New York, 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors. And so at the end of 8.5 innings, the score is New York 9, Pittsburgh 9.
It was 1st and 3rd at the time and 1 out. I mean, Yogi really stung that ball. It was a line shot, and that's why I think Mantle thought it might have been he might have caught it on the fly. That's why he was coming back.
Mantle made a great play. He made a great play when he, and just, I don't know, it's instinct. As soon as that ball is hit, you run, But somehow or another, I guess he felt like, that Rocky was going to catch it on the fly.
Everybody says, geez, Mickey Mantle made a great play. It was the dumbest play you could make, because if he's tagged, the run don't score and it's all over. We win. But he took the chance of Rocky Nelson reaching down there and tagging him out, and we win. But he got Rocky come up and ready to throw to second, and then he saw him sliding. But if he'd have known he was coming back, and I think he took a big chance doing that.
Highmark believes that whatever helps healing is powerful medicine. Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Bottom of the ninth, we knew we had a chance to win. That's all it's all. And we knew that we're in a position where if we can score 1 run, it's over. they don't have a chance to come back. And we're just hoping that Maz can get on and we can go from there.
I forgot I was on deck. I got so happy, and then the guy in front of me, I think it was Hoke, made an out for the 3rd out, and I was on deck, and I didn't even know it. I didn't even think about it, because I didn't think I was going to have to hit, because I thought we was going to win the game and it'd be over with. So, geez, by the time they tied it, I said, oh boy, now what? I'm sitting in the dugout, and we got to come back. We got to score a run this inning. And then somebody yelled, Maz, you're up. I said, I forgot all about it. I never even thought about it. So I grabbed my helmet and walked up, and all I wanted to do was hit the ball hard somewhere and get on base. I wasn't trying to hit no home run or anything.
Ralph Terry on the mound. Sudden death now, last of the 9th. 9-9. Ball 1 outside.
Just get on, Billy, just get on. Bring your out.
Johnny Blanchard and Ralph Terry having a little discussion. There's the drive hit to deep left field. Look out now. That ball is going down. Where's Terry deliver? And Zaleski hits it over the left field fence for a home run, and the Pirates win it 10-9.
Well, the first pitch was up here. It was a little too high. I was a high fastball hitter. And a lot of people said, boy, I hope he throws him another one there. But he did, but he got it down a little bit. And I hit it. And I knew Yogi was not going to catch it because I hit it good. It's 410 out there. It's a long way. I don't know if it's going out or not, but I know it's probably got a shot because the ball carried fairly well on Forbes Field, and then I hit it good.
And I was in the dugout, almost ground level, when Maz hit it. And I can still hear everybody in the dugout saying, get off the wall, get off the wall.
All of us are just praying, you know, hoping that it just hit the wall. Just don't let Yogi get close enough to catch it, you know. That would put a man on second base for us, and we would end up moving to third, you know, and hopefully with a fly ball score him.
It went over, and I see Yogi at the Hall of Fame every year, and I says, Yogi, that cleared the fence by 18 feet. No, Maz, it scraped the wall. So I might remind him of it every year, too. And he says the same thing. No, Maz, it scraped the wall.
The Pittsburgh Pirates are the champions of the world, as Bill Mazeroski, leading off in the last of the ninth, hits his second homer of this World Series. And in a final game that was dominated by homers, Hal Smith's three-run explosion in the eighth, Mazeroski in the ninth, Rocky Nelson in the first, Skowron in the fifth, and a three-run homer by Berra in the sixth. And the Pittsburgh Pirates are acclaimed the champions of the world. And the final score, the Pirates 10 runs, 11 hits, no errors. The Yankees 9 runs, 13 hits, 1 error.
By the time I got to the dugout, with all those people on my back, my legs were weak. I could hardly walk up the ramp to the clubhouse, and it was hectic in there. Everybody's throwing champagne around, doing it. Well, first of all, Bob Prince was interviewing him. As I come in, I was one of the first ones up there, and he didn't see the play. He was in up there, and they says, go, it looks like we're 2 runs ahead going in the ninth. You know, when we score the run. They tell Bob Prince to go, it looks like you're going to win it. Go interview the players. Now they tie it up, the Yankees tie it up, and they call Bob Prince back up. Come on back up, but they don't know what's going to happen. You got to. So then he gets back up there. They says, go back down there, you win it. So he don't know what in the world happened. And then they send me up there first.
Here's Bill Mazeroski, struck the game-winning blow. Hey, wasn't that something, Billy?
Oh, I can't even talk. I'm so tired.
What'd you do? You didn't have to run very far, did you, boy?
Oh,
what was the pitch you hit, Bill?
It was a high fastball.
A high fastball. That did it, and the Pirates are the world's champions for the first time since 25. Joe Brown.
And he says, Maz, how's it feel to be on the World Championships? I says, great, oh, it's the greatest thing in the world. Thank you. And he gets next. He said that was the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to him in baseball.
Maz got up there and he didn't really talk about it, you know. So, but yeah, Prince, I'm sure, was excited as everybody, and he was calling him up as fast as he could, you know.
Here's our winning pitcher, Harvey Haddix. Harvey, you made it 2 in this World Series, big boy.
Oh, it's wonderful. I've never had anything more wonderful happen to me.
Well, I know you haven't. Bob. Thank you. And here's
how sweet it is, Bob.
Yeah, here's our little round. Little Spanky Burgess. That's the 2 base hits today, and they were big ones, Smoke.
Yes,
nice.
Well, it's a great thrill, Bob. A big thrill.
We'll see you back next year, huh?
What do you say, Gunner?
Well, Dog, how are you? Bob Skinner, our left fielder, finally got back in action. How's that thumb?
Fine. They had to get the dog in there to win, I guess.
That World's Championship changed hands real quick, didn't it?
It sure did. It's all healed now.
All right, Bob, thank you. Good luck to you. Best of luck. And here's Roy Face, who made 4 great appearances in the World Series and had the misfortune to see one go out against him by Yogi Berra. But, Roy, you didn't mind that as long as we won.
That's right. As long as the team wins, don't make it difference what happens to me. I'm happy the team won. Beat the Bucks. Can't beat the Bucks, can they? No, sir. Can't beat the Red Buckles, I'll tell you that. That's
This is Gino Somoli.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got them. They broke all the records and we won the game. How about that?
There's a good one. Broke all the records and we won the game.
We won the game, right here.
Yeah, that's it. Here's Mayor Joe Barr. Mayor, congratulations.
I don't know whether my wife's going to deliver or not. I hit her when Hal Smith made that home run.
Well, what you do when Mazeroski came up. Thank you, Mayor Barr. Here's the president of the ball club, Mr. John Galbraith. And Mr. Galbraith,
I just want to ask you one question instead of you ask me. We paid our debt to the city, the people of Pittsburgh.
I think you have it. You've given your voice to it, too, haven't you?
Give everything I've got.
You wouldn't trade a Kentucky Derby victory for this, John.
You're trying to get me when I'm vulnerable.
All right, okay.
Which way'd you get in?
Yeah,
I've been trying to get you in there.
This is Bob Rice, our traveling secretary. Robert, we're being seen coast to coast.
Very good. Great, Rob. Just the best.
Good to see you.
I can't talk.
All right, well, I'm not going to be able to do much more.
My quick interview on that, I really don't, I don't remember what I said either, but I know I was thrilled about it.
Here's a guy that pitched his heart out, went as far as his left leg would go. Vern Law. Deacon, I know you were disappointed, but you're happy that you're with a world
You're not kidding, Bob. I'm feeling great right now. You betcha.
Well, I want to congratulate you on your 2 great victories and the way you hung in there and never cried a bit about that left ankle. I know about it.
That's fine, Bob. Thank you.
Vern Law, ladies and gentlemen. Here's Billy Burden, our fleet-footed center fielder. Wasn't that a dandy, Billy?
That was the best, Bob. I don't think there's ever been a better one.
Well, I don't know if there has been either. I'm glad that we're not getting ourselves thrown apart.
Remember, I was born and reared in Pittsburgh, so play on a world championship team in your hometown is the greatest thrill in the world.
Well, here's Tom Johnson, Dick Groth. We're going coast to coast, Dick. I know you're real happy about that.
I feel wonderful, Bob. This is the greatest ball club in the world.
World's champion, Dick Groth. How's it sound?
Wonderful. It's the greatest feeling in the world to be a world champion. They thought we were dead, but we bounced back, didn't we, Bob?
Yes, you did. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Dick Groth.
Well, it got hectic, and geez, getting to my car was a problem, and I'm drained. I don't know, nothing, geez. So we get in the car and we go up and sit in Squirrel Hill. And not a park, Squirrel Hill Park, or was that Shenley Park? Shenley Park. And we sitting up there, and all that was there was the squirrels, nobody else. We could see the highway down there, and there was a lot of traffic on that going back and forth, but we just sat there probably for a half hour, 45 minutes, just to catch our thoughts.
I'm very proud to have been a member of that team. I mean, that baseball team was very, very special. And believe it or not, when you win a world championship, which that 60 team did, it's not any 1 or 2 people. Every person on that ball club had something to do to add to that ball club winning that year. It's a team concept. Baseball is just as much a team game as football and basketball. And that team was personified with all the teamwork and the respect they had for one another.
Well, I think we were fortunate to have people that we could associate with and we were friends of. We weren't just baseball players, we were friends, and we enjoyed our time together, and I think always have and probably always will. We just hope it lasts a lot longer.
You know, you'll never forget the camaraderie, the fun, and also the experiences that we've had together. You know, that's something I'll never forget.
I've never been able to explain how you feel and how great it is, but it was pretty special.
There are many talented individuals and entrepreneurs who develop an enterprise with initiative, unbridled enthusiasm, and creativity. When it comes to financial planning and investments, not so much so. That's where the investment advice from Fort Pitt Capital Group can help. Our personalized solutions and heartfelt interest in helping our clients achieve financial success is our passion. The result, peace of mind. Fort Pitt Capital Group, your future is our focus.
Swinging a deep fly ball to right, and Josh Bell has hit another one out of here.
And welcome to PNC Park.
Kevin Newman, his 7th home run of the game, just won it. Raise the Jolly Roger.
Pittsburgh Pirates own a rich history, great players, championship teams, incredible moments. Inside Pirates Baseball explores the organization's past with a 10 great series of programs.
Home runs by nature are impressive, whether it's because of the pressure situation in which they occur or the sheer visual spectacle of the distances involved. Fewer than 1 in a million men are capable of powering a baseball 450 feet versus major league pitching. So when it happens, it's a rare exhibition of strength and skill. Sometimes it's simply the matchup of the immovable object